Evropsko prvenstvo u košarci za žene koje se ove godine igra u Srbiji i Letoniji ovih dana u Beogradu okuplja mnoga velika košarkaška imena. Srbija je za sada stigla do polufinala gde je čeka selekcija Španije, a Sport klub za vas iz Beogradske arene priprema mnogo zanimljivog materijala koji možete pronaći i na našem sajtu sportklub.com, ali i na našem zvaničnom YouTube kanalu. Sa nama danas gospodin Kamil Novak, izvršni direktor FIBA Evrope. Mr. Novak, welcome to the Sport Club and thank you for taking your time to be here.
It's my pleasure.
We should start with Eurobasket women. So we are excited waiting for the semi-final matches. And what can you say about the first phase of the tournament? We are going to talk about organizational things.
Well, the organization here, it is very pleasant to see that in both in Serbia and in Latvia, the organization has been at a very high level. We are absolutely satisfied. I hope that the teams are also satisfied. So from the organizational point of view, it is absolutely what we expected and what we hoped for. On the other side, the sporting side, it is very interesting to see the competitions, many exciting games, and again, it was proven that the European women's basketball is very colorful. We have some teams which we could say there is a surprise. I would name Hungary, Great Britain, Sweden played very well so far. So it is good to see that there is a very positive development in some countries in a women's basketball. And of course, like everybody, I'm also now I look forward to seeing the last games, the semi-finals, and then of course the medal games.
And what can you say about the European Championship when we talk about the level of the basketball? Did you like the games?
I watched many games in Riga and also here. I think it is visible that many teams, some teams are obviously going through the process of changing the generation, which is very normal, very natural. We have some young teams with high potential for the future. So the level, I would say, the level is nearly similar to 2017 with some surprises. I can tell you when I watched for instance the Swedish team playing in the 8 finals against Latvia, it was really great, high level basketball. Great Britain, obviously here Serbia, Spain, which is not a really surprise. France. And Belgium, So I think it is the game is exciting. Obviously, now in the final phase, the teams are more nervous. Again, I think it is very normal because we don't play only for the crown being a European champion. It is also very important for the top 6 teams to qualify for the Olympic qualification tournaments. So there is a lot of things on the table, a lot of things on stake, and of course the teams are highly motivated. And fortunately for European basketball, we do not have only 3, 4, 5 teams. You see the competition and the top 8, even top 10, they all have the chance to play at the highest possible level, which is again good for the European women's basketball.
As one of the most important FIBA representatives here, how do you like Belgrade and Serbia, Zrenjanin and Niš as a host?
Well, it's not my first time here in Serbia, in Belgrade. I know what is Serbia in basketball. We know that this is the capital, one of the capitals of European basketball, not only women's, or generally in basketball. It's a country where everybody loves and understands basketball. So it is not surprise the crowd we had at the last game, and obviously I can imagine what is going to happen tonight and potentially tomorrow. So the hospitality is. We know, everybody knows about the Serbian hospitality, and again I would not get tired to repeat that also the level of the organization, it's the highest possible level. Also with the side activities, yesterday we had a fantastic side activity with the players and with the Serbian Basketball Federation and the foundation, Marina Markovic Foundation. So a lot of positive things.
What can we say about the popularity of the women basketball, not only in Belgrade and Serbia, in a lot of parts of Europe?
I will give an example. Yesterday when we had the side activity with the Serbian Federation, the Her World, Her Rule project, which has been started some 2 years ago by FIBA Europe for all European federations. And what we saw yesterday, all these little girls practicing regularly with great coaches, playing, this is the future of course, here in particular case, it is the future of the Serbian basketball, but we hope, and this is the aim of our project, that this is going to happen, and it happens in other countries too. So we have many very good examples what can be done in a very short period of time, how the federations, how we all can attract kids, little girls, to play basketball, and this is just the first step. I can tell you that the board of FIBA Europe has been discussing the women's basketball issue since last 2 years. The project is just the first step. Certainly the board will discuss this issue also in the near future. What would be the second and third steps? We want to have a continued growth of the women's game in Europe, and I hope that there will be many other activities which will make the women's basketball even more popular. We have some countries where the women's basketball is more popular and also maybe more successful than the men's basketball. We have several countries in Europe like that. I think it's in the nature, but we need to grow the game in as many countries as possible. And again, this championship show that we have, and I mentioned already some countries who surprise here. So there is a bright base in women's basketball in Europe.
We need to cover all the competitions of FIBA, and we need to talk about the popularity of those competitions. You made a lot of changes in that part of your work. What is the most popular competition of FIBA now?
Well, we have obviously the Eurobasket, which is the most attractive also and most popular competition, no doubt. We have the Eurobasket women. But we have also some other competitions, and now we can discuss 3x3, which just became Olympic sports, became very attractive also for many federations. We see a huge movement in several countries. What happens there? We have many countries with hundreds of thousands of kids who are not registered in basketball but playing the 3x3. In some parts of Europe it's still called streetball, but at the end of the day it is 3x3. But we have also our club competitions, and last but not least, we also organize every summer 16 youth European championships. We do organize every second year.
How do you see the future of those competitions for under 16, under 17 games for girls and boys on television?
On television, this is our aim. You would know that I think it's 3 years ago we started to stream all the games in the A divisions at all 16 youth championships. 2 years ago, after a huge success and the feedback of the national federations and in general the basketball community was huge, so again the board of FIBA Europe decided to extend it and to stream online all the games also in the B division. And again, we are talking about 16 tournaments every summer within 2 months. So it's a huge workload, and obviously our future would be not only streaming, would be also TV. We do have the host broadcasting of all competitions in the A division as of semifinals already for some years. So the future would be to extend this, because we want to be present on TV. We want to show the public that there is already at that age a lot of potential, a lot of talents, a lot of players who will be performing at the Eurobaskets, at the World Championships or Olympic Games in few years from now.
Some of those competitions we can watch on Sport Club already, so I think it's going to be even better.
Now we know about the activities of Sport Club, and again, for us it is the more content, basketball content is on TV, the better it is for all basketball in Europe.
Can you tell us the whole story about the 3x3 basketball? You made a great story beginning from the street basketball to one of the most popular things on television. They can be played maybe on shopping malls, on airports, on the street. Can you tell us the whole idea about the 3x3?
The whole idea I already mentioned. There are many players who are not registered. For whatever reason they do not want to, or they do not play in the organized competitions by federations, by clubs. They just want to have fun. And the story actually was started many years ago. And the idea was, okay, what can be done in order to bring this community somehow together and make it more attractive? And obviously the goal was for many years, and I believe some people did not really believe that it could be an Olympic sport, which happened now. So of course, it helped a lot because now, some years ago, the plan was we create a story, you can make it from the street to the Olympic Games. And which is very attractive for the kids. You are not really organized in the club. Maybe for some reason you cannot practice every day like you would have to do it in a club. But with this discipline, and we call it special basketball discipline, you can potentially make it. Obviously, with the development of 3x3 now we see, and again Serbia is one of the best examples because you have actually not one, we have several teams who are playing all these competitions not only in Europe, also worldwide, the World Cups and the World Circles, etc. And this is already becoming, in a way, kind of, it takes professional direction. Slowly but very surely we can see that there will be in the near future players only playing 3x3, focusing fully on 3x3, because not only the Olympic Games, which helps a lot, but also the World Cup, the circles, of course the zone championships, in our case the Europe Cup. There is a lot of competitions, and there is something you can achieve as a sportsman. So here, where it started is one thing. Which direction it will go, it's another thing, and this is what we've been discussing. Which direction we want to have. There is a huge growth in some of the countries. I would name here France, but not only Spain, Russia. I mean, I don't need to talk Balkans. There is a huge interest, and we are very happy to see this development because this is what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to show the basketball, and 3x3. It is different discipline, yes, but at the end of the day, it is basketball.
What can we expect from FIBA in the future? Some new ideas, new changes, new games maybe, or new ways to promote the competitions?
I can tell you we have now new elected board. Already at the first meeting, the board expressed the wish to analyze all the competitions, what we are doing, and to discuss whether there is a need and whether there is a room also for some maybe new projects, not only but also in 3x3. So both disciplines, basketball and 3x3, it will be considered. There will be at some point discussions and of course decisions. And I'm very optimistic that we can really grow the game. We see it in the youth championships. What kind of potential we have there, and what the federations, together with the clubs, that there is still a lot of talents coming up every year. I would just use the last summer, 2018, the under 18, and okay, because Serbia won. And when I watched the games, when the finals, 10,000 spectators, Serbia against Latvia, on both sides, there were 4 or 5 players, which was clearly visible that this will be a top-level European players. By the way, it was a big pleasure for me to see again the game to be dominated by big guys, because usually you have guards. So at this particular championship, the 2 Serbian centers dominated the game. So there is a lot of potential for the future, and certainly the board of FIBA Europe will discuss and take the proper decision in order to grow the game.
We need to talk also about EuroLeague Women. How much is important for you?
EuroLeague Women, it's our top-level competition. We have all the great players who play here, and all the great players who also perform in the summer in the WNBA. They all play regularly in the EuroLeague Women. We have, you know, that for many years now we achieved that we stabilized the system. We have 16 teams. Since last 2 or 3 years we have an increase of teams who would like to participate, so we have to play also qualification, which means the competition became kind of a premium competition, and this was our goal. We have a very clear system also how to qualify, who can qualify. The regulation is very transparent and known, and the level of the game in EuroLeague Women, this is what you see here. Obviously these are clubs, not national teams, but we have really high-level clubs with huge investments. We have new clubs coming in, and we believe that with the EuroLeague Women we can also see positive developments in the national championships. I would use as an example France. Some years ago it was Bourges playing at the high level, and there was no really other club at the high level in France. Now in France you would have 4 or 5 clubs competing, and you know, France has 3 spots in the EuroLeague Women, and there is a huge competition at the national level to get one of these 3 spots, and this is how also our competition helped, probably, we hope, to strengthen the national championships. We have a similar positive development in Hungary now, you know, and some other countries, obviously traditionally in Russia and in Turkey. I don't need to mention this. So there is a growth, and obviously the women's basketball is something which has been discussed and since some years and in the board at FIBA Europe. The first activity I already mentioned was the Her World, Her Rule, and again, also here, the board will certainly discuss and take proper decisions for the growth of the women's game. And the EuroLeague Women is a part of the women's game, very important one, and I'm very optimistic for the future.
It's going to be very important for the Serbian clubs for me to asking you this. Is there any chance for any Serbian women club to be a part of maybe EuroLeague, maybe FIBA Euro Cup competition?
Okay, so in the women's competition, the Euro Cup women, every team can register. So already there, if there is a team not only but also, let's say, from Serbia, if they register, if the national federation would register them, they can play. For the EuroLeague women, because it's a premium product, it is a little bit different procedure. Again, it is all in the regulations, but the champion of Serbia would have the opportunity to play at least in the qualification, and then everything is based on ranking. So at some point, and this was the story of TTT Riga last year, they didn't have a direct spot. They had to go through qualification, and because they had fantastic season in EuroLeague Women, they collected a lot of points. Now in the national ranking, they are among the countries having a direct spot in the competition. So this is kind of Cinderella story what happened with TTT Riga, and this is, we believe, a good example for some others, that within few years you can really grow. Riga played some years in the Euro Cup Women, they played at a very high, decent level, and at some point they decided to also register for the EuroLeague Women, and now they have direct spot as the champion of Latvia.
To be precise, what should Crvena Zvezda or Partizan do to get a spot in the Euro Cup or EuroLeague?
Register.
Yeah, only that.
Only that.
And to play the qualification game.
No, for the Euro Cup women there is potentially this depends on the number of teams which would register.
Yeah.
So we have in our regulations we can play the competition even with 48 teams or 42. So this is just that we have a very clean competition model. So it's really all depends on the number of teams registering. And of course, if there is qualification, they would have to go through qualification, but maybe not. If there is, let's say, exactly 42 teams registering, that they would be directly in the regular season.
The World Cup is ahead of us. It's the main team here. What should we expect from China as a host?
You mean on the court or off the court?
On the court and off the court also, yeah.
It's very difficult. You might have seen that China in the qualification. I mean, they were of course qualified, but they did play the qualification. But they were two different teams. So for me, it's very difficult to say how good or estimate how good China can be. Obviously, the home court advantage will play a role, I would guess. And it will be very interesting to see the competition between China in the group. They have one European team, which is Poland. So it will be interesting to see this. And my estimation is that the group will show more or less the direction how far China can go. As a host, China is a big country, of course, huge fan base. So off the court, I would expect full arenas. I would expect a huge excitement around the championship as such, with side activities in each of the 8 cities in the preliminary round, in the group phase. So we believe that this will be the game changer for the World Cups. It will be at a different level.
What is the most important thing that a potential World Cup host should have to be a candidate for that?
You mean to host the World Cup?
Yeah.
Obviously, you need the facilities. That's one thing. So you need the proper arena. This would be the base to organize such an event. Now with 32 teams, my personal opinion, it will not be easy for one country to host in the near future such a championship. So I think also here at the World Cup, it will go, and we have already the award for 2023. So 2023 will be organized in more countries, and I think this is also a little bit maybe the future of the events. not only in basketball, we see it also handball and volleyball in Europe. They actually do copy what we have started back in 2015. And the reason is very logical one. If you have more hosting teams, so you have full arenas, you can create the atmosphere and the euphoria in different countries. So you catch more people, and more people are involved and feel that this is the event. So, as I said, the first would be to have a good arena, and personally, we wish that in the World Cup would be played in the next years, also in Europe. And again, I personally do not really see one single country who can afford it. So maybe more countries. So this could be a good option.
Well, we need to be precise again. Is there any chance for Serbia to be a part of the World Cup?
Well, I cannot answer this. Obviously, Serbia Serbia has a nice facility, and if the federation would feel that this is what they want to do, why not? I believe that many European countries could have this idea. And obviously there is a lot of work. You have to study what are the opportunities, what are the challenges. So this must be really deeply analyzed. It's a huge event. But I believe that we have 10, maybe 15 countries who could seriously think to be part of the World Cup. Not to host the whole thing. This is very, very difficult. But to be part, as we have in the Eurobasket. Look, we have in the Eurobasket since 2015. We always had now the last championships 4 hosts. Not always only big countries. We also had smaller countries who potentially would have never been able to organize the whole Eurobasket. But to host one group, the group phase, it is doable for them. And I think at the World Cup level, why not? So to your question, of course, also Serbia would be one of those countries if they feel that this is a proper competition and that they feel that they want to do it. Yes.
Thank you. For the end of this conversation, you were a player too. So can you compare for us the Eurobasket from your time and now? Or any other big competition from that time?
I think it's a really long time ago. I played at Eurobasket 1999, so it's actually 20 years. And the game has totally changed. This is not what it used to be. It is much more athletic. It is the game is fast. Not only for the players, also for the referees, also for the fans, to follow all this. The level of athleticism of the players, it's just tremendous. And I give you just small example. Back in the 90s when I played, there were every team would have 1, maybe even 2 players, to 10, to 15, like these classical big centers. Today, you don't really see it. You see that also the big guys must be very athletic, must be very flexible, must move fast. So the game became extremely athletic, and it's a still pleasure to watch it. There is really a lot of athleticism in the game, and I enjoy every game which I can watch. But I would not really compare it with back 90s. This is nearly impossible.
Is it easier for you to watch all these games, or to play them, or to organize them?
I don't play at all anymore. Organization, this is what we are doing. So to organize the games, these events, it is a big pleasure with all the challenges. But it is a lot of emotions, a lot of fun, and we do it always together with the hosting federations. So there is a lot of synergies also. And to watch it, yes, always. Unfortunately, I do not have always time to watch the games. So as much as I can, I watch. But obviously we are here as FIBA Europe to mainly organize the competition, so this will be the first task. But every second I can watch, I will watch, and right now I will go to the arena to watch the games here at the Eurobasket Women.
Did you ever think about things like organizational things, volunteers and everything, all the details and everything when you were a player? Very honestly, I didn't even know that there are some volunteers. As a player, you have one task: to get ready for the game and to win the game. This is all what you, and this is normal. This is what you are there for, and you don't really see. You don't even want to see. You are not really interested in all the things around. This is what we see when players finish their career, and some of them, when we had a very successful project for ex-players, timeout project, where we opened the door for them for second career, and we had 80 players from all Europe, and it was amazing that they came to us and they said,
well, I never knew that there is so many things behind. You know, you said volunteers, but there are some other things which have to be taken in consideration. The whole communication now with the social media, this all has changed. So also this compared, for instance, what you said back in 90s, there was no social media. Today, you know, everything what is somewhere said, it is immediately in the whole world. So also behind the scenes there is a lot of work, and as a player, I don't think even the players should care about it. They should really focus on the game and leave this to the persons who are organizing the events.
Thank you so much, Mr. Novak, for this conversation. We really do appreciate your time here.